Hello, 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 hello. Here we go. Here we go. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Yes. Yes, we are home. We are home. It's Sunday. It is Sunday. We are home. Are you guys there for me? Come on. Yes, Facebook. We are home. We are home. We are home. Let me check. Can you guys hear the jelly bar? We are home. We never miss. We never miss. We are blessed today to have y'all. Yes, the family is up and running. We are up and running. We are up. Can you guys hear the jelly bar? Assalamu alaikum. Mobile, welcome home. Welcome home. We are up. We are up. We are up. Y'all give me a minute. Let me play my jaliba. Yes. Can you guys hear us? We are home. We are home. Are you ready? I am ready. I am ready. What's going on? Yes. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yes. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yes, Nko. Everybody is welcome. Everyone is welcome. It's Sunday again. Yes, greetings. Yes. Brother Ja, can you guys hear the Jaliba? From YouTube. Allah baraka, Allah baraka. Allah baraka, mbalu kontona. Yes, alimbalu kontona. If I have any issue with the volume, please, y'all let me know. Let me know. Yes. I have them here. Yes, I have them. My special guest. P.P.P. in the house. G.D.C in the house. P.P.P. is Ousainou Joof. G.D.C is Dodou, Ndow. Are you guys ready? We will have a great conversation today. Things are happening up and down in the Gambia. We have good intention for our country, and we are here to have that discussion with y'all. Everybody is welcome. It's Sunday as usual. I'm grateful again to be here with my big smile. Yes. Yes. PDOS in the house. Allah baraka. I'm gonna bring the brothers up. I'm gonna bring them up. Yes, that's Ousainou Joof. Mr. Ousainou Joof, you are welcome to Binto Bantaba. Mr. Ndow.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy to have them. I'm so happy. Are you guys ready? We are ready for a great discussion today. If my volume have any issue or their volume have any issue, yes, you tell us, let us know. We cannot afford to have any glitch today. We don't have time for that. Yes. All right. We are up. We are up and running. Let me put this technician time. It's technician time, you know. System local. You know, I'm not good with this technology. Yes. Brothers, you guys are welcome. This is Binto Bantaba Network. All we do here, educate each other about our home country, the Gambia. With respect. Respect is our motto, as usual. We have special guests. Please respect. Respect my guests and respect our guests, the people with good intention, and they are always on this platform. If you are new, you are welcome on this platform. The only rule, strict rule we have here is respect. You respect and respect. That's all. Our legacy is not going to go down with insult. We will open the line a little bit later on. The number will be at the bottom. It's going to be +1 if you are outside the country, 678-3900-539. We will start our discussion. If you are on Facebook, please follow us and like. YouTube, I see Brother Ja, you are on there. Thank you for your text, loud and clear. Subscribe us and follow us because we only comes once a week. All right? Yes. I love y'all. Okay. Mr. Joof.
Yes, Binto.
Mr. Ndow, thank y'all for coming in today to Binto Bantaba Network. My team and I are honored to have y'all. And the viewers are here. My viewers, our viewers are special to us, just like my guests are special to us. So we are special to each other. All we do here, good conversation, educating ourselves about our country. What can we do for our people? What can we change in our country to catch up with other countries? So, Mr. Joof, you are welcome. You can have the floor.
Thank you, Binto. Thank you for having me tonight. Mr. Ndow, I just have to say thank you for sharing the platform with me. Binto, I am here on behalf of PPP. I must say hello to my party Secretary General, Honorable Keba Jallo, and say hi to the entire party membership, the party president, national president Alhaji Balaji Lamin Nanko. And of course, I can't ignore the fact that we have a very dedicated national advisor in the name of Oje Jallo. You heard him here before in the past, and he did spoke well about PPP. Today, what we're going to do today is to give you, the viewers and your listeners, the audience here, what PPP is all about. Of course, a lot of people know about PPP, but what we will be doing today is to give them about the current situation that we are in today. I am here on my own behalf. I do not represent the voice of the PPP officially. I am here as a party member and a party supporter and speaking for my party. Whatever I say or argue about here is not the official stance of the party. I must make that disclaimer.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you coming in. Mr. Ndow.
Hello, Binta. Hello, Mr. Joof. I'm honored to be here tonight with you all. Special thanks to all the listeners and the viewers. I am Dodou Ndow, commonly named as Dou, living in the UK. It represents the Gambia Democratic Congress, formed in 2016, as you all know. I will also greet our honorable party leader, Honorable Mama Kande, and all the executive of the party, the women of the party, and obviously the youth who are the strong pillars of our party as well. I am happy to be here tonight, as you know, Binta, and anything in the quest for Gambia's development, we are ready and to be part of, and obviously without any distinction. So I'm once again thanking you all for inviting me to this platform. Thank you.
We are honored to have you. Okay, I will start with you, Mr. Ndow. Mr. Ndow, can you give us a brief explanation about the G.D.C and their party policies, please?
Yeah, I mean, Binta, thanks for that question. I mean, it's a question that I will be delighted to dwell on. The G.D.C, Gambia Democratic Party, Democratic Congress, obviously formed in 2016 in the bid to bring change in our country after obviously a long couple of decades of the not fully democratic, obviously, system or dictatorial, if you like. And the G.D.C contested the 2016 election, not in a coalition, obviously, but has contributed immensely with 18% in the presidential election to oust the former president. The G.D.C is a political party that has its motto as One Gambia, One People. It's a very diverse party. It's a party that we believe every Gambian is a stakeholder, is a contributor, and we believe in a change, in a real comprehensive change through a radical system of change. And the G.D.C obviously believe in empowering women and youth, who are the fundamental groups of our society. Without them, we cannot be developed. Just like the Western countries and all the developing countries, as we know. We have a policy and programs. Our policy and programs also can be found in the www.gdc.gm. And part of the programs, obviously, and policies is that we number one, as to reform and strengthen institutions through comprehensive civil service reform, both at home and abroad. That is point number one. I mean, we have in that as well to complete an overhaul of the armed and security forces with clear roles and responsibilities within a democratic setup. It also includes setting up an effective and efficient anti-corruption commission, a tax administration reform at national level, increased community safety and security. On the second point of our manifesto, we also, for policies, as you would call it, we have what we call the diversity and inclusion for all Gambians. This includes developing a system of equal opportunity based on meritocracy, empowerment of the youth, women, disabled and elderly, and also disabled productivity, independence, and involvement in everything that we do in the Gambia. Promote cross-cultural tolerance, understanding our differences, but use our commonalities as a strength in the Gambia, and obviously the inclusion of the civil society organizations, the press, and the media, freedom and participation, very important in a democratic governance. The third point is a comprehensive health and social welfare reform with support for the disadvantaged people. As you know, that 77% of the Gambians in the rural area are poor, live on $3 a day, and 22% in the urban areas are poor, live on $3 a day, according to the poverty calculations of the United Nations. So a national health sector that delivery plan within a set time frame in the short term to build a major hospital in every region with a network of referral centers and equipped and well-resourced, free medication for pregnant women, elderly, and disabled, build social housing for low-income earners in public and private work, financial support for elderly and disabled. I mean, strengthen the social services. And point number 4 of the 10 is quality education services with increased science and technology, focus on new education plan, and consider focusing on fusing them into like the two ministries, putting the two ministries into one, and obviously have a bigger directorates with the educational system for effectiveness and efficiency, significantly increase education access nationally, free education to grade 12 and scholarships award to further education with people who are merited regardless of your background, teachers development, incentives and reward, improve quality education to complete globally. And also number 5 was to environmental protection and responding to the climate change, which is reform empower the National Environmental Agency with horizontal integration to all ministries facilitate the local authorities to ensure clean and environment, ensure robust waste management in all areas of the country, encourage greener environment, and obviously reduce environmental degradation by reducing, reusing, and recycling of the goods that we use, or the items, or the packaging. And number 6, economic development and foreign direct investment to be enhanced, understanding that Gambia is only 2 million people, and obviously most of the multinationals would not find it encouraging to invest there because of the size and sell their goods, but we can facilitate for them to use our country as a service center as well as production country to be able to serve the whole continent and the region in particular, through sound economic policies and with agriculture, tourism, and fisheries development. Job creation programs, particularly addressing youth unemployment, effective and efficient public enterprises, small, medium enterprises, and support robust public-private partnership contracts and poverty alleviation strategies for all. And point number 7, we talk about local governance autonomy, promote religious and cultural tolerance in the country, devolve, decentralize, reform of local government, administration, effective revenue collection, land reform, and regional economic development plan. Christians, Muslims, and animists to be supported, regardless of obviously their beliefs, and treat as Gambians. Create a functional art and cultural commission that will support the artists as well, who maintain our heritage as Gambians and our difference from the rest of the world, and also support the central mosques and churches in the towns as local institutions, and 8, serious and well-coordinated international engagement, which includes a clear, independent foreign policy, strong participation in the regional blocs, as well as the international organizations such as ECOWAS, AU, European Union, and United Nations, ensure Gambians in the diaspora involvement in national development, and ensure it's a reality. And point number 9 to last, which is information and technological development, it's a world-class IT system that can help e-governance, digitalization, and data collection system for all institutions, improve communications, invest in technical development for our nation, computerized collections of statistics to inform data, to make informed decisions that are beneficial to the Gambian people, ensure consumer protections in all services to the Gambians. And the last, but not the least, is to make sure that we have strategic infrastructure for industrial development to enhance investment, energy provisions, electricity, water, and all the energy that are needed through good access throughout the Gambia with roads, river, and air transport facilities, also, and access public transport systems in all regions of the country. Binta, I think those 10 are the 10 points of our manifesto, our policy and programs that you requested. I'll pass it back to you. Thank you.
Okay. We had all those great points. The manifesto sounds really good. But we are Gambians. We say, well, with all that, where are we going to get those finance from? How is the education part, the scholarship and all that, the healthcare? It sounds really good. The manifesto sounds perfect. But how are we going to fund that?
Well, it is difficult for those who don't know how to do it, but it is easy for those who know how to do it. Because if you go back to history, you know that all these nations that has developed, they went through very similar strategic plans, short-term, medium, and long-term. And you have the people in development economics, like Sachs, Jeffrey Sachs, and others, saying that proper taxation, tax administration is one of the good things. That doesn't mean increasing tax, but having a proper taxation system, because the Gambia is not rich in mineral resources. And if we have a proper tax administration, that means every income earned in the Gambia will have a small amount or percentage to pay, properly proportioned from the highest officer to the lowest, and also invest in our agriculture, our fisheries, river, and in our tourism, which are our natural resources. We know the Gambia have a lot of sunshine that we can make a use of from the international tourism, even from national tourism, and we can also use our river Gambia for exportation of seafood. We can also use our agriculture, engage our people, our women, our farmers to produce and sell and get money from there. So obviously, it's just a matter of proper administration with people who get the know-how and have the political will to deal with it. Binta.
Oh, great. Transparency is a problem in the Gambia. Governments, political parties, people have trouble getting access. Did GDC have any way we can get access to this manifesto?
If the GDC have any access,
can we have? Which way can we have access to this manifesto? The website.
As I said earlier, in the beginning of the conversation, if you go to www.gdc.gm, you will have, that is our website, and you will find our policies and programs there.
Okay. So GDC, if you want to have more information about GDC, go to their website. Thank you, Mr. Ndow. Mr. Joof, you are on mute. Can I have you? Yes.
Yes, I am back.
Mr. Joof, all political parties are busy running their political activities. We are not seeing PPP in any activity right now. Any plans?
Binto, I think that is very unfair on PPP. I think Gambians know that the PPP is very active. I know the level of activity that probably you might want to see with PPP and the other political parties in comparison might not be the same, but we are definitely very active. Imagine just last 3 days ago, we have a delegation that went around the whole country trying to mobilize people to get to the Congress that is going to be held next month.
Imagine just last week.
Is that me or you?
That's you.
Okay, then I'll just switch off my.
So switch it off. Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Then is it okay now?
You are still.
Or is it still echoing?
Did you put a page on? Turn it off. Let's do it. Close that page.
Okay. Then is it okay? Are we okay now?
You are still. Did you put a page? No, it's still on. Close that page.
Okay. I did close the page.
Okay. Now we're
good. Is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just to come back to the point that PPP is inactive, I completely disagree on that point.
Okay.
And it might be unfair also on PPP to label us as an inactive party, knowing very well that we've been engaged in lots of activities, mobilization. Everybody in the Gambia knows, in fact, in the entire world, everybody knows that we've been banned as a political party for 22 years. That has created a lot of hindrance for the party, particularly our structures. Most of these parties that came after 1994 capitalized on the vacuum that was left behind by PPP when PPP was banned as a political party. In fact, most of these parties springboard from those platforms. We know PPP has structures. We had very formidable structures all over the Gambia. And at the moment, what we're doing is trying to restructure those platforms that we have, put up the structures, the necessary political structures that we need to enact the party. Last week, we had a team that just left Banjul, went all over the Gambia. They met with every constituency team, trying to mobilize them to get to the National Congress, which is next month, as you may be aware.
Give us the actual date. What do you know the date?
The date is not confirmed. I don't want to announce a date that is not confirmed by the IEC, yes, but there is a tentative date, which when confirmed, we'll be announcing that in the public, and the public would know about that. But just coming back to the point that we are not active, I would want to highlight one thing. If you look at the PPP as a political party, we had assets.
Okay.
We had lots of assets because we've been in government for 30 years.
Yeah.
And as a party, which was formed by farmers, basically farmers formed the political party, which is the PPP. The farmers fought hard and then saw that the party is stable. The party is financially stable and politically stable as well. And over the years, of that 30 years, they had lots of assets to keep the party going. What happened after 1994 was all the assets were seized by unconstitutional government that came over. Military personnel came over, took over government, elected government, and subject the PPP. That's what I keep telling people. If PPP was a human being, probably we would have been the first casualty of the APRC government. We would have been more than 10 times. All our assets were taken over. And this is what PPP is concentrating right now. We're trying to get back our assets, rebuild our party, restructure our constitution, rebuilding it, make sure it corresponds to modern day Gambian politics. This is what we're doing now. And no one can tell you that we are not doing these things because we have already established bureaus, political bureaus. Of course, we didn't lose them, but they are still with government. We're still trying to get them. We have a political bureau in Banjo.
So PPP is having serious difficulties.
Exactly. We are trying to get
Jammeh is gone. Barrow is not willing to return all the assets.
Yes, we're still trying. It's negotiation. You know, in politics, you have to negotiate. Fighting with politicians. In politics, if you try to fight, you might find it very difficult to get what you want. But if you negotiate, we are doing with the government right now, be it Barrow government or next government coming in, which we hope would not reach that stage, we will try and get the assets back. But then we are not stopping there. We already have a national headquarters, which we started operating about a few months ago. About 5-6 months ago.
Okay.
And that is an activity. It's been equipped now. We're trying to furnish the National Party Secretariat. And you know that is the nerve center of any political party. If you don't have a National Secretariat where you can formulate your policies, where you can formulate strategies to do your mobilization and campaign, you cannot work. And that has been absent in the last 22 years. Now we've just got that now. What we're doing now is trying to build up from that point and move on.
Don't you think PPP is running late on that?
We are not.
Because 2021 election is right in the corner.
Yeah, it depends on your party's priorities. We have priorities. You know, PPP is not hastily looking to take over the government. We've been there for 30 years. We know what it takes to run a government. We don't want to start promising people, giving them 20,000 lists in a bucket that we know we cannot deliver. We have to assess the Gambian situation now. As I told you, we've been dormant for 22 years.
Yes.
Non-existence, not even dormant. We've been banned for 22 years, illegally banned for 22 years. And coming back now, what we need to do as a party is we are working on strategies. We are working on programs that would help us to come back to the Gambian people, present them a new face of PPP that they would recognize. Obviously, if you look at the Gambian population right now, the majority of the Gambian population don't know PPP. They were like born after probably 94.
Yes.
All they know is APRC, AFPRC.
Yes. When we have Honorable OJ, he said PPP declared their support for Barrow. Are you guys still supporting Barrow?
As I told you, I am not here on behalf of my executive committee. I am not representing the executive and the party position.
Right.
But what I can say as a party militant is what we are doing now. What we are doing now is trying to rebuild our party. Okay. Now, supporting Barrow or not is a possibility. because PPP, as we stand now, everybody know that we've been banned for 22 or 25 years now.
Okay.
We've not been active. If
Fair
we
answer.
are telling the Gambian people that we want to take over the government now and start running it, it's not something that is feasible. We want to be very honest with the Gambian people, which we are known for.
Thank you.
To make sure we present them ideas and programs that we know we can implement, we know we can deliver. This is why what we're doing now is to try to rebuild. Now, whoever is interested in PPP's support, obviously it's up to the party leadership and the party congress to decide on that. If OJ mentioned that in the interview, I'm sure he must have had very good reason to make those suggestions.
Fair answer, Mr. Joof. Fair answer. Thank you so much. I will come back to you. Mr. Ndow.
Yes, Binto.
Okay. Some people are saying that G.D.C are losing their party members to NPP. Can you give us a clarification on that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Binta, yes, I think by just looking at the subject matter of the discussion today on your platform, as you have written, will the PPP and the GDC survive 2020? I think just looking at that alone tells me that obviously the adjudicator or the presenter or the host or whatever name you want to call her, or is already have made up her mind. However, based on obviously the theme on that flyer. But what I would like to express to that, like Mr. Joof has said, obviously, Honorable Omar Jallo is the advisor of PPP.
Right.
And it is very difficult to differentiate the personal and the institutional position, because as an advisor, obviously, we can see him obviously advising or saying or showing his support to the NPP. The GDC are resistant to that from the top to the bottom. We've been tried many times since 2017, 2018. They have never stopped trying to lure us into their administration, because we believe in principle, and we believe from the onset the reason why we did not join the coalition 2016, which has come to light in the end, was seeing the outcome of what was going to happen as it happened in between 2018, 2019, and now. So that principle is still with us, and they then believe that the only strategy they can use is to try and infiltrate through using a lot of avenues, resources, labeling, characterization, like personal discharacterization of people, doing everything possible to get the support from the GDC, which is their main headache. And I'm sure they know it is very difficult, and it is the biggest threat for them, considering that most of the NPP are from the obviously UDP. So they believe that they should have got the same from the GDC by doing every effort that they are doing. But I can tell you and guarantee you that we will survive 2021, and we are going to be the kingmaker of 2021, because we will be putting up a better position for the Gambia to have a comprehensive, real change after 2021. President Barrow and NPP, with all that they're trying to do to see that we don't survive, is not going to work, because we believe in principles. Yes, you will have one or two people who will go to NPP because of their own personal self-interest, their pockets, and their own personal reasons. However, he cannot do that for the whole Gambia, and he cannot do that for the whole GDC in particular. And if you look back, that what the GDC has done in the Gambia since its inception in 2016, there's no political party that has ever done that in the Gambia as an opposition. And even recently, you can see the GDC recent chairman at the of Kuntawur, who saw the support to NPP, saying that the G.D.C party did not take any development into Kuntaur. And obviously, he has been given a vehicle. And just prior to that, few months before that, he had a conversation which was on audio that he's renewing his support for the G.D.C, saying all the goodies for the G.D.C. All of a sudden, he decided to change to N.P.P because maybe he's eager to have some personal gains by being loyal to the N.P.P. For him to say that the G.D.C should take support or development to Kaur is very unfair to say, and is something of a very, very mediocre kind of political leadership, because the G.D.C is not in government to take any development. I think, if anything, he should be advocating for a payment of the government into Kuntaur administrative region, what they should have in full from the Gambia government to use for the people of Kuntaur, and anything that G.D.C can do through its political structures in that region, then will be added to the development. But he was on about G.D.C should do development, forgetting that the N.P.P that he went to support should be held accountable for the development of Kuntaur as well as all the Gambian regions as a whole. So we help the poor people. We try to bring water, bring support, pay school fees to many students, do a lot of things that opposition has never done in the Gambia. So added to our policies and programs which we want for the Gambia, I think if anything, we as a party from the inception advocate for peace, bring people together. President Barrow and the N.P.P as our sole opposition. We have no time to fight against any other political party, and any other political party apart from the N.P.P who wish to go and join the N.P.P like the NRP did. I think those parties will be prone to lack of survival more than the G.D.C, Binta.
G.D.C, yeah, that was the question. I'm glad you asked.
Thank you.
I'm glad you asked. Come on in, Mr. Joof, you can come on.
I have a disagreement, a little bit of
go ahead.
Disagreement with Mr. Ndow on the point of
development.
No, or PPP in coalition with being the party that had a coalition with NPP.
Yes.
I think, Mr. Ndow, you missed the point about OJ's making that remarks. OJ is the national advisor for PPP. Yes, he is the national advisor for PPP. He has a view. His view does not necessarily represent the stand for the party. The party has to go to Congress and obviously adopt a position on what we want to do. Okay. Yes, whether PPP is going to survive or not, I think we passed that stage for PPP. The question is the smaller parties that you're talking about. PPP has survived for 65 years. We'll be 65 this year. Can you name any other party that is 65 years old in the Gambia? No. Unfortunately, all the other parties that existed around the time of PPP are all dead, but we survived. We survived a very harsh dictatorial regime that spanned for 22 years. If we can survive Yahya Jammeh and his autocratic rule, obviously we can survive the Gambian people and their love for PPP. The Gambian people love PPP. What is lacking, Binto, is PPP not having the opportunity to present its program, which I have mentioned earlier on, that is dependent on our ability to restructure, get our assets back, and go out there and talk to our party members. They've gone somewhere else. They want to come back home. But unless we rebuild our home, make the rooms very nice and livable, all the facilities in place, it'll be very hard to accommodate all the members that want to come back. They want to come back, but they want to feel comfortable when they come back.
Okay,
and that's what we are working on, building the party, making sure our structures are in place and strong and viable. You will see all our members return back.
Mr. Joof, do you think Barrow played you guys a trick for appointing your party leader as ambassador? Was that a trick?
No, I don't see that as a trick. A lot of people talk about this issue. I think Papa Njai, Honorable Papa Njai, make a personal decision. Remember, we were not as a political party appointed or giving a position, ambassadorial position.
Okay.
Everybody knows Papa Njai's relationship with President Barrow.
Okay.
Binto, these people are brothers. They grew up from the same household.
Okay.
I don't expect anyone in the Gambia, for that matter, to deny their brother that opportunity. If your brother calls or your sister calls you to come and help them out to run a state, would you say no?
Well,
I don't think so.
Well,
listen, I think people have been political about this, but this is a family issue. President Barrow is a brother to Papa Njai. They are brothers.
But not with our job, with our positions.
What position?
You can, ambassador. You cannot.
Yes, it's a political position.
You cannot compensate your brother with the country's high position.
No, it's not compensation. It's trust. It's a political position. Let's imagine all the political parties. If you were to assess all the political parties now and their executive committees, come on, some of them, their wives are secretaries or they are financial officers. They manage the funds. We're not talking about, we're talking about a political appointment. The president trusted someone. And imagine the Gambia, everybody is even related. Anyway, the president trusted someone in the person of Papa Njai to represent him somewhere. For me, that alone should have qualified Papa Njai to go. He is not leaving PPP. He's going to support the president's agenda. In fact, for now, I don't think anyone understands actually the relationship PPP have in this government. We are a coalition partner in this government. This is not an NPP government.
Right.
This is a coalition government, which we have a right, actually, we have a right to even appoint ambassadors as well. If Papa Njai should go, he could even still go for PPP because PPP is part and parcel of this coalition government. We brought this government to power. President Barrow right now is not NPP. He is an independent candidate for the entire Gambia. In fact, the only party probably you would say is not part of this coalition is G.D.C. But even UDP is still part, and they still have members of the UDP serving still the government in very high positions. I think that notion should be dispelled, and people should stop accusing the PPP of selling out to NPP. It doesn't exist.
I want to hear.
It doesn't exist.
I want to hear Mr. Ndow's opinion. Mr. Ndow, do we pick our staffs through qualification or compensation, family compensation?
No, I think Mr. Joof himself is, if he's hearing himself, he is shooting himself on a foot. Because, Papa Njai came, we all wouldn't forget that. Recently, just less than 2 years ago, Papa Njai came to contest with Bunja Dabo to lead the PPP. And what Honorable my uncle Omar Jallow was saying before the end of the 3 years on television everywhere, that if the 3 years is completed, he's going to resign. That has been a headline for GRTS introduction on news every day. And before the end of the 3 years, he got a problem with the agricultural issue. Whether it's true or false, I don't want to dwell into that. However, he was stopped. He was dismissed, to put it in a nice way. And then he stayed out for some time. And then this guy, Papa Njai, came in. And we all knew, because if you understand political side dynamics and the way our culture is, our social setup, Papa Njai came from Barrow. From the beginning, we knew that President Barrow is going to use him at some point, just to, because if Bakari Dabo was, I'm not here to campaign for Bakari Dabo or to talk about him, but if he had led the PPP at the time, PPP will not be in this stage. But what they done is they use the relationship, as you are saying, instead of the qualification, and get Papa Njai in, and Papa Njai now came in, led for a couple of years, and then less than even a couple of years and been appointed.
That's not true. That's not true, Mr. Ndow. Papa Njai is not related to OJ. Papa Njai is not related to OJ or anyone. Hold
on, Mr. Joof. Papa Njai is related to President Barrow. Or they grew up.
Yes, but not to OJ.
No.
You're talking about him becoming a leader of the PPP. That's what I'm trying to dispel here. That's not true.
No, let me explain. Let me finish. Whenever you finish, you can say, because all the listeners, they've been following Gambian politics, I think, since 2016. And what I'm saying, if it is not true, they will know. So it's not about an argument between me and you. It's just about me having to say my opinion as I've been asked. My point is, Papa Njaya's appointment to an ambassador, because he is related to Barrow, or they have their connection, has defeated the subject or the objectivity of the PPP, which was led by the late Sadaura Kairaba Jawara. We lived it. We lived the PPP. I'm sure if I can tell you a lot about PPP, because my family all were PPP before. So I know a lot about PPP, but that's not the theme of today. All I'm saying today is that Papa Njaya's defection or Papa Njaya's appointment, and you are saying that the PPP is a part and parcel of the coalition with the UDP, even though in practice, we know on paper, which they disregarded, it's not the reality. The reality is it's only PPP and NRP now that can be counted in as a coalition of President Barrow's leadership. So that is the fact. No, hold on. So my point is right now, I cannot see any UDP minister in the Barrow's government right now, and there's a PPP minister. There's an NPP minister. So those are the ones in practice. I'm not talking about the agreement. I'm not talking about in paper. I'm talking about in practice. In practice, the coalition 2016 now is broken, and the people that want to support Barrow's agenda are being consumed by the NPP, which is obviously very clear in the eyes of the Gambians. That is why our people are confused now. They don't know what's going on, because people are doing things that is totally out of what the way it should be. So my point is, as a political party, if we are opposition against a president or against an incumbent, you cannot go and support the agenda at the same time being an opposition. That doesn't sound right in any country. Thank you.
Binto, I just want to make a clarification here.
Okay.
I think Mr. Ndow, PPP is a political party that has an agenda as well. Remember, we developed the National Development Plan Blueprint. It was the PPP, the UDP, and the other coalition partners that came up with the National Development Plan, the NDP. Obviously, we are supporting the National Development Plan, which is a UDP, PPP, and the other coalition partners document. It is ours. It is our manifesto, we can call it, before or after the elections. Now, the point of us having a coalition, the PPP having a coalition with any other political party, that could also be seen as a political move. Remember, a few months ago, we had UDP supporting G.D.C in a political move.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't criticize G.D.C for having that foresight or taking that responsibility with UDP. For me, it's politics. If you align your programs with another political party, you have similar programs, you have similar ideologies, you have a similar focus. If you could come together as a coalition, for me, if it benefits both parties, why not go for it? But for now, what we're doing is we are in a coalition government. That's what we are into now. We are not in fact, NPP is not a part of the coalition government. That's why when people started accusing PPP of selling out to NPP, I quite get frustrated, because people don't understand the dynamics that exist now. NPP is not part of the coalition. President Barrow is not he might be a member tomorrow, but he's not a member of the NPP. NPP is run by a separate group of people. Okay. That's what I wanted to make clear. People should stop accusing PPP of selling out. That is not true.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mr. Ndow, we've been hearing your party leader, Honorable Mama Kande, speaking well about APRC, the development Jammeh did, the projects that have been done, and Barrow claimed they are his while they are Jammeh's. Are you guys looking into APRC coalition too? Because, I'm gonna lay it out this way. Our local language. It's G.D.C. baby APRC. Is it baby APRC?
Thank you, Binta. That is a question. I mean, yes, I mean, what you need to remember is, the GDC is the diamond bird of the Gambia, if you like. They remember just few months ago we were UDP baby. Before that we are
APRC
APRC.
baby.
So it's going to be like that. I mean, we are always going to be, associated all the time, with many different parties. And the reason is because obviously we have not spoken, we haven't had any agreement or anything whatsoever. All we believe in is cordial relationship between all the political parties in the Gambia. APRC, they are political parties that they are a political party that has obviously been there for 20 something years. They've done a lot of development, even though yes, they've done some bad things as well, which we all know, and we are saying that, or we are also all working together to ensure that as Gambians, that this never again will be a reality. So let them understand their mistakes, and we cannot support anything that has been done bad in the past and make it a good thing today. So obviously, and I'm sure they acknowledge that it's a political party, just like any other political party in the Gambia. However, what is important is, have they realized, or are they willing to move on and seek forgiveness, reconcile, do reconciliation, compensate, and seek forgiveness from people? So the same situation. We want a cordial relationship between all the political parties, because if you remember this, the statement of Alex de Tocqueville, who said, in politics, the common hatred is almost a fundamental base for friendship. Our problem is President Barrow. So we should be able to work with the PPP, the APRC, the G.D.C, the PDOIS, Citizens Alliance, name it, apart from the NPP, because we all know what the NPP has done to the Gambian people. After 22 years, NPP hijacked everything. NPP start to, even in short time, 66 until last June 2020, 66 billion public debt dollars. Gambia's debt rise to. When Jammeh left, it was 48. When Jawara left, it was 32. So between Jammeh and Barrow has spent almost 18 more compared to the 22 years of Jammeh from Jawara if you divide it by per year. So you will see that Barrow has even taken more debt than even Jammeh on average yearly in his 22 years, and even Jawara in his 30 years. So we are saying that our for future generation will be paying for that. And obviously they are using the money, as you can see today, for political gains, buying voters' cards, as they did in Nyamina, doing a lot of stuff that is not in line. In 4 years, we have not seen any development that the NPP has done in the Gambia. And at least, as we all know, President Jammeh, in his term, in the first 3 years, we have seen at least 1 or 2, 3 developments that he has done in the Gambia, even though there was some other bad activities that was going on, especially what is coming out now with the TRRC and the other stuff. So my point now is that, are we going to hold and say, no, we want to stay alone, we don't want to have anything to do with any of you forever, or we have to forget about the mistakes as long as they accept it, and also the EPP as long as they accept it, and the other political parties, and work together for a new Gambia? Or are we going to just be alone and keep fighting in order and give more power to the incumbent? So that is our choice now to make as Gambians.
Good. Joof, do you have any?
I quite disagree with Mr. Ndow on few points that he made. First, why do you want to call this coalition government NPP government? That's misleading in the first place, because there's no legal basis for what you're saying. The NPP is a new political party that has just existed. It just contested election. Probably you are confusing the political party and the person that is suspected of being part and person of that party, and probably the leader. That is the President of the Republic of the Gambia, President Barrow. President Barrow is an independent candidate. within a coalition, which we are part of as a party, PPP. If you are accusing the coalition government of not doing anything in the last 4 years, then probably you have missed Gambia. Maybe you should go. I have been into the Gambia since the new coalition government came.
So do you want to tell us that?
Let's look at some of these issues that have been dealt with right now. In 2016, the first thing that we as a coalition government did was to go through Jammeh's mishaps, what he has done to Gambians. First, Commission of Inquiry. That is a proof to say that the Gambia was minus 25 in the Human Development Index. Minus 25. We were not even ranked anywhere near development. We were below the margin. Now, we come to the TRRC, which you probably have been watching. I followed the TRRC. We've seen a lot of things that went wrong. You cannot start building on a fragile foundation. You cannot do that, Mr. Ndow. If that is what you're promising the Gambian people now, as a political party, that you want to just build on what Jammeh left, the ruins Jammeh left, without having to reinforce your foundation, I think you're misleading the Gambian people. But first, let's go to the economic aspect.
Joof, hold on.
And follow what's going on in India. Because I don't know when we're going to start. No, hold on, Mr. Joof.
Hold on.
I gave you time to talk. Give me time to talk. I want to discuss all the points that you make here.
Okay.
Which are unfair to the coalition government. You keep saying NPP. That's not right, because that's not true. It's not an NPP government.
Mr. Joof, we the Gambians
are
saying...
However you want to politicize it, it's not NPP government. It's a coalition government. Until after the election, then you can start accusing the NPP if they fail.
Okay,
but for now, whatever you say about this government, you're actually directly attacking my party, which we are part of.
Okay,
but then I just want to, Binto, talk about the foundation, because it's important that the Gambian people...
Mr. Joof, hold on. Mr. Joof, hold on.
Yes.
The coalition failed the Gambian people, and the Gambian people are standing here.
How?
Confessing, saying that, screaming loud, the coalition failed us. The agreements...
I'm asking a question. How do we fail?
Barrow should be in for 3 years. He changed his mind in a blink of an eye.
Let's talk about the coalition government instead of the term limit. Term limit, Barrow was elected for 5 years. That's the reality.
That's why the failure started.
No, it doesn't. It didn't.
Why did Ousainou say he's going to resign after 3 years then?
Yeah, but he did.
No. Who did?
He said Ousainou did.
No, I'm saying to you, let's go back to what you said, because your party leader at the time and the current national advisor said that the coalition government is dead. He said that in many occasions. And secondly, Ousainou himself said after 3 years, which was the agreement, he is going to resign. If you go to my Facebook wall, Mr. Joof, please visit my Facebook. You will see your party advisor or leader, former leader, taking hands, having a one-to-one discussion in the UK here. I want us to be realistic with these things. My point is, you can say that the coalition government until 2027 is what you like. But my point now is that the coalition, we all know, coalition failed, coalition died. When the coalition was working with the UDP as UDP, the biggest contributor or part of the coalition, they used to call it a UDP government. Why didn't you call it coalition government at the time?
Can I come in, please? Can I come in, Binto?
Brother,
Joof, let him finish. Let him now finish.
And I want us to be very, very fair, because it's down to the Gambian people to make their choice. I'm not here to compete with NPP. You are not my problem. My problem is NPP. My problem is not PPP. My problem is not 2016 government. Trust me. My problem is President Barrow and his group, who did not deliver to the Gambian people what we expected after 2016. So I think right now, it's not for me to attack you, as I said, and we shouldn't be in that position to make use of the time and the platform. Let us focus on the topics of the of the program today and discuss through that, rather than me and you defending back. All the listeners will make their judgment. They know what your party leader or advisor has said before. The videos are there. We are in the time of Wedi-Wul, which is video. You go onto it and you see what people have been saying. So we don't have to argue on that. Thank you.
Yes, I have to. Okay, Binto, you had a question. You were asking me questions. I just want the Gambian people.
Go ahead. You go ahead and finish. I'll come back.
To understand the point that Mr. Ndow is making and the basis why he is making it. I am here talking about the coalition government, which we are part of. Obviously, we cannot shy away from that. If you say that we haven't done something, obviously I have all right to say, yes, we have done something. We are trying to correct what went wrong in the last 22 years. You cannot have a destructive government for 22 years and expect that to just emerge from somewhere within 5 years and that get done. Of course, we might have our political differences with UDP, with you, your party, G.D.C, and other political parties. That's normal. We might have some differences along the way as a coalition partner. That's normal. We have differences in terms of what we meant by 3 years. That is also obviously normal. President Barrow is a person. He is human. He made a personal choice. OJ made a personal choice. That's why I am commenting on the OJ issue, because you mentioned him. He's a member of my political party. He made a personal choice to say, okay, I have this personal constraints that I can go beyond 3 years. He made that decision. If President Barrow chooses not to make that decision, that's up to him. But legally, if you're talking about legally, I'm not talking about the morality of it. We can always be judged about our moral stance in terms of politics. We both made lots of things. If I should challenge you on that part as well, we might probably be talking about it the whole night. But that's not the point. The point is, what does the Constitution say? We got to be very honest with the Gambian people. What does the Constitution say? Does it say 3 years or 5 years? It says 5 years. Now, if the president chooses, let me land, please, Dodou. If the president chooses to stay beyond the 3 years, which is moral,
Joof, that's where he failed us. That was it. That's where he failed us. Number one.
No, I don't think, Binto, you're making a judgment based on someone's morality.
I'm part of the coalition, so I'm not making any judgment.
No, but I don't agree. I don't agree at all that constitutes a failure. What constitutes a failure is the APRC government that stayed here for 22 years and make the massive destructions. That is what we are working on to rebuild. You got to make the foundation strong so that if G.D.C happens to come to power 2026, they can have a very solid foundation where they can lay their policies. I know they have a basket full of policies and programs with no mechanisms of funding it, as you just asked Mr. Ndow. We would have prepared them the ground, very solid ground for them to build on something. This is what the coalition is all about. That's why OJ stepped back and go back and start pushing from behind to make sure the issues that he felt are very relevant to the Gambian transition period are something that is pushed forward through our representative in government. We have a minister at government. And you saying that there is only one other party or two parties in the coalition, that's not true. We have about four, we still have 4 parties remaining. Even UDP is still in the coalition because they have, go to the foreign services, it's flooded with UDP staff and UDP members. You can say that they're not in the coalition anymore. The only party that you can say is not in the coalition anymore probably is PDOIS, and we don't know. I don't even know that, if they're still or not. I'm not sure whether Halifa Saleh is speaking to President Barrow and giving him advice or not. I don't know. But as far as Gambians are concerned, and as far as we are concerned, the coalition is intact. It's working towards 2021. After 2021, Mr. Dodou, UDP, G.D.C can come and attack N.P.P. if they wish. But for now, whatever you accuse them of, I'm not here to speak on behalf of N.P.P., but I'm speaking to the Gambian people. I want them to have the facts. That's not the reality. N.P.P. is not in government. They're not in government. They only have one MP, which is in like G.D.C in parliament.
Joof, I'm going to mention 2-3 things. What our coalition failed the Gambian people.
Okay.
Okay? The 3
Go ahead.
years he failed, and the Mandinka Senko, K. Alalahido, Anyanta Mandela. So that's
Okay.
number one. He didn't do that. He started enjoying that within that 3 years. He said, well, I changed my mind to 5 years. Okay. The draft constitution failed. That means a lot to the Gambian people. The third republic should be through that draft constitution. It's gone through the window. They're still working on it, but we'll get to that when we get to that area. The coalition failed, and it's dead.
I don't agree.
Even,
I disagree. I completely disagree with your analysis, Binto. You can't just, a government, you cannot just point out few key areas and then draw a conclusion that a government has failed based on those few IITs.
Honorable OJ said it's dead. He said the coalition is dead. He said the coalition has been dead.
It's been no, I don't agree. I don't agree that he said that. I think you are accusing OJ of saying that. Okay. He didn't say that. I don't think OJ would ever say that, because we have a minister in the coalition government. But then coming back to the point, on PPP, my political party, in terms of our relationship with the coalition partners, what we're trying to do is trying to lay the foundation for the Gambian people, for the Gambian people to know what went wrong in the last 22 years. I think Binto, people are ignoring a very important aspect of our lives. My own brother was killed by Yaya Jammeh. You all heard about Ibu Job and Alaji Mahmoud Sise. Ibu has never involved in politics, ever. We went to school almost, his brother and myself went to school together. But he's never been to school. These are the wrongs that is so painful to Gambian people right now that we need to correct. You cannot just jump and start building skyscrapers when people are still crying, when people don't have the appetite to live in those skyscrapers. Build up the Gambian society first. Build up the structures that you need to develop the Gambia first, and then you can think about the other aspects. That's the infrastructural development that people probably would have seen Yaya Jammeh build their white elephants. In fact, I would argue that what the coalition government is doing, we are right on course. This is what we should have done from day one. Of course, we had some delays. We all know what happened during the first 2 years of the coalition government. We all know, as Dodou highlighted, that they have been accused, UDP has been accused of hijacking the government and taking over the government. Look, I don't want to start pinpointing coalition members, but what happened now is President Barrow is not leading NPP as a government right now. That is a misleading fact. What he's doing is he's working with coalition partners to make sure we build the foundation that the Gambia needs to build up. And I hope Gambian people also see this, because we've witnessed the TRRC and we're still witnessing it. We're still having witnesses coming forward. I'm sure, Dodou, you yourself and your party leader, you have had first experience of the APRC government. He left. Mama Kandeh left the APRC. Why? We always have to question that. Why did he leave? Because he cannot stay in such a brutal government. And he felt obliged and felt responsible that if he has to answer to the Gambian people tomorrow about some of the crimes that were going on, and people know about them, everyone knew about them, and he knew he cannot live with that, with his conscience right, he left. He left the APRC. And I'm sure he should have joined us even. We're still inviting him to join the coalition now so that we can rebuild a foundation that is very stable and strong. When he becomes a president, maybe in 10 years' time or 15 years' time, he can have somewhere where he can build his ambitious programs. For me, that is the key point. Gambians must not be misled about developmental projects, which are based on a very fragile foundation. Build the foundation strong, solid. Let the social fabrics be enhanced. Let them be put together. People have to be very strong, stable in their minds, stable socially first before you can start putting up structures.
Okay, Joof.
How about if you put it up and other Yaya Jammeh comes back?
Okay, Joof, before I will let Ndow come in, I am saying I'm sorry about your brothers, and I'm saying sorry to the entire family. May their soul rest in peace. We have I hope I'm not too low. We have
That's right.
we have APRC here. We even have their party leader right now, not Honorable Fabakar Tombonjata.
Okay.
When we talk about a government, we might separate it a little bit from the party, but still they took the responsibility and said, you know, they are not happy about that. Gambia should not be like that. And Dodou just said the same thing. Lamin Tamba been here several times. So I know the family is watching. We are sorry. It's all the Gambians. That's our responsibility. We should get our brothers back. We should get our sisters back. So we are sorry about them. Okay?
It's
Mr.
okay.
Ndow,
It's okay.
yeah.
I think a lot of Gambians have passed through that. I just brought this up for a simple reason that Gambia we need a solid foundation.
Yeah, we
Let's
cannot
not
just jump
ignore
in
the
like
fact that we are still a fragile state. We are still fragile in our mind, fragile in our societies.
Okay.
Every corner you go, we had a division. Let's heal that first.
Okay,
before we start thinking about building an airport or building a seaport.
Okay, now you can come on in.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
yeah,
Joof.
thank you. And like I said, we deeply sympathized for those affected, including my own self and many people like us. So that is obviously something we currently working on, and I think this is the main essence of the TRRC, as I mentioned earlier, never again. But yes, as Binta has mentioned, we have to separate the two. I mean, obviously the leadership has always been responsible, obviously, as a leader, but the political party, the people in the party today, or the people in the Gambia today with their voters' cards, they also have their own responsibility as citizens. And most of them, I would say, were not even involved or did not know what was going on, as we all know. However, my point is it's very difficult to separate the leader from what is going on with the people that he or she leads. So that is why I'm saying to you, my uncle, Honorable Omar Jallo's position with the PPP cannot be separated from the movement of the PPP. And that is a fact. So whether you agree or not, we all know. Number two, coalition 2016, he himself said is dead. After 3 years, he's going to resign. Before the end of the 3 years, he was out through the agricultural problem, whatever happened to it. I don't want to talk about that, but however, we know very well, if you have an intention to resign out of something and you say that something is dead, you have one minister, which is the Minister of Fisheries, James Gomez. And then after you coming back to say that you are supporting that coalition government, then you need to be questioned seriously.
There is nothing contradicting in that. There's nothing contradicting in that.
Let me just say my view on this, because I give you almost 15 minutes and you dwelt everything that you wanted to say. So give me the opportunity to also say what I want to say, and then we can move on to the next topics, because we're not going to agree on this. And like I say,
we will not.
it's not an argument between you and I. It's about going forward for the Gambia. What President Jammeh and APRC has done in the past, and we all crying from it, I mean, to resolve the problem, and we all know, but at the end of the day, we are all Gambians and we cannot throw out each other. With current situation of the coalition 2016, we know what happened, and we can see what is happened recently with, for example, the Janneh Commission. We've seen what happened with the assets. We've seen what happened with the politicking in the Barrow and his NPP government, as you would not like to hear. There is no coalition 2016, and Gambians know that. In paper, yes, there is a paper hidden somewhere in the State House drawers called 2016 coalition, but we that there is no coalition 2016. What is going on is an NPP government for a hijacked group of people who
just let me know. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, a group of people who have hijacked an agreement of concerned Gambians in 2016 and try to do it in their own way, which is why we are going through what we're going through today. So moving on to the fact that the PPP want to support President Barrow, we don't have a problem with that. Like I said, we have other political parties, whether they support President Barrow's agenda or the NPP. The fact that President Barrow hijacked 3 years to 5 years, hiding behind constitution, which has been there since 1997, and this was 2016, when it was there black and white, they moved past it and chose 3 years. There was a reason for that. And this was done by people who are educated, people who are leaders of the country for many decades, who have passion for our development, and they know that if this is not followed, it's going to hunt us back. And that is why it is hunting us back. So, and we saw this as GDC at the beginning of the discussion in the hotel 2016, and we know all that was going on. Now we are facing the consequence. So I just want to say today that whether we have a full basket of promises, we have never been tested. We need to be tested, or any other political party who has never been in power to be tested to see what they're going to deliver. But right now, as we know, if the PPP failed us for the 30 years, the APRC failed us for the 22 years, the Barrow failed us for 4 years, for the last 4 years. We have to agree that fact and move on from what we are today.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you out to another portion, another discussion, another topic. Okay.
Thank you.
So we will come back to all that. We will come back to all that. I will try to get hold of Kek Sane. Mr. Sane is PDOIS. This was on Wednesday this week. We saw Honorable Halifa Sallah had a press conference about the failed draft constitution, and we realized that the former president of Nigeria, President Goodluck, was in the country. So I will try, while we discuss on that, I will try to get hold of him. Then, I will bring him in immediately. Okay. So Mr. Ndow.
Yeah.
Mr. Ndow, let me talk to my Binto Bantaba community. I am so sorry. We are so busy. The discussion is amazing. I mean, look, y'all, if you come in late, we have our brother here, Ousainou, Mr. Ousainou Joof for PPP. We have another brother here, Dodou Ndow, G.D.C. Please follow our page, share, like us on YouTube, Facebook, and give us a comment. It's a discussion, as usual. Respect. We will try to get hold of Kex. Kex, if you are watching us, please call us. Okay, Mr. Ndow, I'm back again. Mr. Ndow, Nyamina.
Binto, I have to respond to Mr. Ndow's point about PPP's failure. I don't think that is fair, a comment that should let to go. Because
okay, I'll give you 2 minutes on that. I'll give you two. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes on that.
For 30 years. Mr. Ndow.
No. Mr. Joof, hold on.
You make an allegation which is untrue.
No, Mr. Ndow, hold on. Mr. Ndow, hold on. Mr. Ndow, hold on.
Allegation which is not true.
I want you to say that. I want you to understand. I said, if we want to blame PPP, I've been to many platforms. I live the PPP regime, and I have defended PPP in many occasions. Babu Abdullah Diasporium can testify this. I have been there, and I have defended PPP, but I can tell you it was 100%. It was 100%.
My question, Mr. Ndow. Mr. Ndow, my question is, the statement you make that if PPP failed for 30 years, are you insinuating that PPP has failed in the last 30 years?
No, listen to the statement. If we can hold PPP failing for 30 years, and hold
PPP is not failing.
WhatsApp, please.
No, hold on. The word I started with if.
Yeah, call my WhatsApp.
I don't think that statement is even should be qualified. You cannot even use that statement.
No.
You cannot associate PPP with failure.
Mr. Joof, I am saying that if we can if we can say that PPP, they failed us for 30 years. And
that is not true. We cannot even say that.
You don't say it, but some people say it.
Yeah, but
Gambians
that's
say
what I'm
it.
saying. The people who saying it are wrong.
Okay,
And
fine.
not repeat
You
it.
deal with those people. I am saying, if people can say that.
Mr. Joof, hold on. Mr. Joof, hold on. Let him clarify before you can answer.
We agree that also Barrow has failed us. That's what I said. I'm not saying that PPP has failed us. I'm saying if we can say, if Gambians can say that Jawara have you failed for 30 years, you have you failed for 30 years, 20 years, or whatever, and then now you want to say the Barrow of New the diamond thing. Come on. Where are we? Are we sleeping?
Not saying. Listen.
Okay, Mr. Ndow, now hold on. Let Joof clarify. What we said. I even asked Honorable OJ. I said PPP, especially us on the province. We felt that, even though I was young, but my brothers and sisters, they were failed by the PPP. So go ahead and clarify that while I get Kex on the phone to settle.
Okay, Binto, thank you very much for even bringing that. I think PPP will be very proud to be asked that question.
Kex,
did we fail the provinces? No, we don't. Or we did not fail the provinces. PPP has done a lot for Gambia. And I don't want to start listing and naming projects that PPP implemented in the provinces. But then you challenge me, Mr. Ndow, that the Gambian people are saying this, which I have to ask for qualification. Who said that? Did you carry any study? You just hear it from social media, and you hear it from opposition parties. Just give me. I'm not asking a question. I'm making a question. I'm making a statement. I'm not just asking you a question. I'm just saying that if you said the Gambian people are saying that, probably these people are people born after 1994 or thereabout. They know only Yaya Jammeh and Yaya Jammeh's legacy. But the important thing here is Gambians need to understand one point. When the APRC government came in, their sole objective was to blindfold the Gambian people. How? They wanted to demolish every platform that the PPP established, every development agenda that the PPP had. They want to blindfold the Gambians. They know that the younger people are coming up. Now, how do they do that? First, they masquerade our projects. I'll list some of these projects for you. And you, Mr. Ndow, probably you're my age. We grew up in the PPP era. We know what prevailed then and what prevails during the 22 years of Yaya Jammeh and what prevails now. Let's look at the NTC, for instance. The NTC, I'll just not name Banjul, but Kawur.
Hold on.
If you know the provinces very well, you would know that NTC existed in Basse, in Kawur, and in major town centers in the provinces. What was the objective?
Okay,
you and I would know. But any young person that was born after 1994 would probably not even know that.
Okay, Joof, hold on.
Yes.
Joof, hold on. We have Kex on the phone, just like I told you. Kex.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, let's talk to Kex first, then we pick up from there. Right, Mr. Ndow?
Yeah, okay.
I'll just grab water.
Mr. Sane.
Yes,
Mr. Sane, you are welcome to Binto Bantaba Network. I hope I'm not echoing too much. Am I echoing too much?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Hold on. I don't want to echo. This thing is very important. Okay. Are you there, brother?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. We saw your party leader. Welcome to Binto Bantaba Network first. Our viewers are here. We are... I can hear myself. I'm sorry. Okay. You are welcome.
Well, don't worry about it.
Mbala.
Okay.
Mr. Ndow, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Kex.
Yes.
Okay. Kex, you are welcome to Binto Bantaba community. We are here, and this week we have been seeing your party leader, Honorable Halifa Sallah, had a press conference. Can you give us a brief explanation about his press conference?
Thank you very much. And once again, thank you very much for having me on your platform for the first time.
Can you hear him?
Very interesting platform that I have been following for a quite long time.
Mm-hmm.
And very interesting topics have been discussed there regarding how the way forward to shape the future of this country. And thank you very much once again for your listeners and everybody here.
Okay.
And I say once again, I'm happy to be on this platform.
Thank you.
To your question, yes, Halifa had a press conference and it all emerged regarding the constitution in the 2020 draft constitution that was the agenda of the coalition when they faced the Gambian people that if we give them the mandate, they will definitely build a new constitution that entire Gambians will be proud of. And based on those agreements, they decided to establish what we call a Constitutional Review Commission, headed by Justice Chorma Jallo. And they drafted a draft constitution after consulting with the Gambian population, both home and abroad, and took it to the president, and the president forwarded it to the National Assembly for scrutiny and approval. And this draft constitution was rejected by the minority of the National Assembly, which is 23 members of the National Assembly. And due to the constitution, the requirement that 3/3 of the National Assembly must support the draft constitution for it to go to the next stage, it could not reach the third. It could not have the 3/3 requirement of the National Assembly. Then automatically it fails at the second reading of the National Assembly, and we have thrown it in the dustbin. And Honorable Khalifa Salah, as a member of the coalition, who believes that this 2020 draft constitution is more democratic and it is more, one can say, it is more visible that what we have fought for, like to have a democratic rule whereby the voice of the people will matter and the Gambian people will shape their own destiny. As we all know, in the history of the Gambia, this is the first time that we have draft our own constitution that we can say we are proud of. This is a citizens' constitution that we all contribute one way or the other to build a document that will govern the manner and the way the country will be governed. If we go back to history, we find out that the 1965 constitution was inherited from the colonial masters. The 1997 constitution doesn't take this route, like to go to the national, because by then there was no National Assembly at that time. So they just drafted everything and it went there, and the executive just went straight to the referendum and it was voted in yes or no when the citizens were not educated to even understand what was the content of the document so that they will know what they are voting for. So they just went to a referendum and yes, no. Eventually it passed through the referendum. It becomes the law that governs us. But as we go on, we found out that this 1997 constitution was amended almost 64 times to suit one individual rather than to suit the citizen. So the coalition feel it deemed necessary to say, okay, this is not a document that can represent the Gambia because it is very undemocratic. It has vested the powers to one individual and we all become a subject, in our own country. So to move from that dictatorial tendency, we must build a new constitution, and this was built and brought to the National Assembly. So when it failed, Hannibal Salah feel like there's a way it can come back to the National Assembly, and he came with a motion for the Speaker to give him leave to table a motion for the National Assembly to rescind their earlier decision that they took on the 12th of September and bring back the draft constitution, and they continue to the third reading where they can invite the CRRC members as subject matter specialists. Why subject matter specialists? Because the CRRC has already dissolved. Their mandate is finished, so they cannot be represented at the National Assembly as CRRC members, but they can be invited as subject matter specialists, since the Constitution empowered the National Assembly members to call on anybody to be a witness or to at least guide them in their committee stage or anywhere. So the CRRC members will be invited as subject matter specialists, and any clause that somebody feel like he is not convinced with will ask the CRRC why this clause and what is his disagreement with the whole clause, and they will explain. If he's convinced, then he can say, okay, I didn't understand this. Then he will understand, like the same-sex marriage has been an issue in this country, and people thought that the draft constitution was encouraging the same-sex marriage, when actually, it's due to the interpretation of the people. It never encouraged the same-sex marriage. So these things will be explained through the experts, and they will definitely understand. And the issue of the term limit, that everybody's arguing that the president, it has seized the right of a president, because acquired right cannot be seized, And for me, I see this very funny. Like somebody who said, elected me, and I will start for 3 years and hand over the government. If that person is given 5 years, I think he should be content with. He should not even argue about, going for another term. So these were issues that were argued. So Honorable Salah feel like if we go to that stage, we might have better explanation, and the Gambian people will understand the content of this document. Maybe most people who didn't understand will definitely understand. So he came with a motion for Speaker to give him a leave so that he will lead in motion before the National Assembly, because you seek the permission of the Speaker first before you come with a motion for the National Assembly to rescind their decision. So this was done, and the Speaker told Halifa Sallah that since it is very urgent and he want to engage his technical staff to look at the legality and all the process of the motion before he will grant Halifa the leave, then he said let him give him time. Then Halifa accepted that, and we were on the Assembly continue with other business. Until when we had break, that was 3 p.m. Sorry, when we had break, then by 4 we resumed to the National Assembly, and the Speaker came with the ruling. And on his ruling, he said that, first of all, you have to look at the urgency of the matter before you come with such a motion. And when he looked at the entire process, he didn't see any urgency for the draft constitution to come back to the National Assembly.
Right.
And secondly, he claimed that, the discretion lies on the Speaker to give Honorable Saleh the leave to go ahead. And since, he have the bread and he have the knife, it's left to him to cut anywhere he feels like to cut, and he decided to cut by rejecting Khalifa and for rejecting Khalifa's motion, to go further. And he also argued that the draft constitution can only come back through the executive, and that means the executive is only the executive that can come back with the draft constitution by reintroducing the draft constitution, that is by a bill, to the National Assembly. And this was argued by Honorable Khalifa Sallah that, in National Assembly, if they make a decision, you cannot revisit that decision. The only way that the provision has stated that section 8 of the standing order, section 8 of the standing order is coming with a motion for them to rescind their earlier decision. But you cannot come with a brand new, you cannot come again, you reintroduce the same bill to the National Assembly. There is no law, there is no provision in our law. So the Speaker's judgment is out of law. That was on Tuesday. He challenged the Speaker on his judgment. He said there is no law, so the Speaker should revisit his judgment and ruling and come with something that is in line with the law. And the Speaker still maintained his earlier position that he still maintained his Monday's ruling, and that is the verdict. That is his verdict, and he's not going to entertain any other further argument on this issue. Then Honorable Khalifa Sallah feel it necessary to call on a press conference to inform the Gambian people what actually transpired in the National Assembly, so that history will be the judge and prosperity will tell us who is right and who is wrong. So that was the essence of the entire press conference, to inform them that he has seen that there is a need for the Gambian people to have this draft constitution again. And since there is a room for the National Assembly, since it is the National Assembly matter, as the National Assembly members matter, it's a National Assembly matter because it's no more in the hands of the executive. Since they table it before the National Assembly, it becomes a document of the National Assembly. And from there, the executive has no other role. If the National Assembly is passed there, they are the very people who will forward it to the IEC for a referendum. So that means that the executive have no more hands in this. So since it is a National Assembly member, and there's a provision that he can rely on and bring this draft constitution to the National Assembly, he will definitely use that opportunity so that the Gambian people not lose the money, the resources, and the time they have spent. Almost $123 million that has been spent on this draft constitution. And one can say that the documents speak the language of the Gambian people, vast majority of the Gambian people, because we have conducted a survey and we see that the vast majority of the Gambian people has definitely welcomed this draft constitution, at least. Even if it is not a better constitution, but at least it's better than the 1997 constitution. And it's a working document that can be improved as we go on. It cannot be a perfect document and it cannot satisfy everybody, but it is a working document. So this is why Khalifa called on the press conference and informed the entire Gambian people that this is urgent. If it is not urgent, then why are they inviting an international people from people outside the Gambia, like Goodluck Jonathan and other people, to go to Kairabat Hotel and discuss about this issue. If you have to export somebody from one country to come, that shows you how urgent it is. And the speaker is claiming that it is not urgent. Then for him, he didn't believe the judgment of speaker. Like there was no fairness in his judgment, because if the executive could hire Goodluck Jonathan and other subject matter specialists on this area to come at least and mediate, so that we can allow this draft constitution to go, then that shows you there is an urgency in the matter. And then his ruling and regarding that the executive can reintroduce the bill, there is no basis on the law. So his judgment was not satisfactory to Honorable Khalifa Sallah, and he called on the journalists to give them an insight of what actually transpired in the National Assembly and what Gambia will lose if we fail to have this draft constitution.
But we were just wondering, the dialogue is between who and who, because UDP MPs have voted yes, PDOIs have voted yes, and several other members of parliament have voted yes. So the dialogue, is it necessary?
Yeah, for me, when I heard of this thing, it sounds very funny to me that, they are trying to, they have this notion that there is an impasse in regards to our draft constitution, and they need somebody to come and mediate. If we go back and check the trend of the voting, we will find out that UDP has a political party. There is no single UDP member that has voted against the draft constitution. You go to Dodou, there is no single member of Dodou that have voted against the draft constitution. And G.D.C have four National Assembly members in Parliament. But the four that are still with G.D.C all voted for the draft constitution. The two that have stiff allegiance to President Barrow voted against the draft constitution. And then you have the 8 National Assembly members that were suspended by UDP, all voted for against the draft constitution. You have the Ahmad Ba 5 National Assembly members, all voted against the draft constitution. And you have the independent candidate Mohamed Magasi also, who voted against the draft constitution. So for me, there is no impasse, bringing Goodluck Jonathan and even inviting political leaders to go and have a dialogue, because for them, they want the draft constitution. And the whole idea, what the executive is telling us, that they also want this draft constitution. So if that is the case and they mean this, what they could have done is to talk to their National Assembly members, the 23 that voted, and said, come on, we cannot lose this opportunity. So now change your earlier decision, and the executive is ready to use one of the National Assembly members to reintroduce, bring a motion for the National Assembly to rescind their decision and reconsider this draft constitution. And those people will change their position, and automatically we'll have the 3/3 of the National Assembly. Then we have the draft constitution go to the third reading. From there, the committee stage. From the committee stage, it goes to the referendum. So actually, there's no impasse that needs a mediation. If you definitely truly mean that you have an intention for this draft constitution to come back to the parliament, all what you could do is talk to your National Assembly members who voted against the draft constitution to change their earlier position and support the draft constitution, and we will just have a smooth process at the National Assembly, and the draft constitution will pass, and it's left to the Gambian people to decide at the referendum, whereby the 75% of the total register of voters must say yes to the draft constitution for it to pass, to be the working document for the Gambia.
Okay, good. One more question. The draft constitution, there are some clauses in the draft that Gambian people disagree. They said we did not tell the commission to write that, especially the judges, their salary, they will retire with it. And other issue, what do you think, the ones that we do not like, if that draft come back, what step will they take to satisfy the Gambian people?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's why it goes through the National Assembly, because the National Assembly members are the lawmakers. The executives are not the lawmakers. They can only come with an intention, and that's why they call it a bill. Before it becomes a bill. And bill is not a law. So it's just the intention of the government that this is what they want, and they will introduce it and explain the reasons and the objective of the bill, why they introduce this bill to the National Assembly. Now, the National Assembly members has the knife and the bread to look at and scrutinize the document that is before them. They can delete, they can adjust, they can change any clause that they feel like they are not satisfied with. This is why we say that the Gambians has lost an opportunity, that for the first time in the history of this country, we will have the opportunity to check the draft constitution clause by clause, one by one. And subject matter specialists will be there. If you are not satisfied, they will explain to you why they inserted that clause in the constitution, and what is the motive behind, and what is the reason behind. And maybe with the explanation, you might be convinced that it is necessary. And if you are not convinced, you go in for both. And during the vote, you can say that, okay, I'm not convinced with the explanation given by the subject matter specialist or the CRRC, and you can vote against it. At the end of the day, that either be deleted or it will be maintained there, or it can, if they can even change and modify it by amending it, maybe changing it. Those things are possible. So this is why we say that they should be given the opportunity, because even at the third reading, you can kill the draft constitution. You can all vote against it, and if you don't have the three tax, so, but allowing it to go to the Twitter will give the Gambians the opportunity to know all the doubts that each and every Gambian has a doubt about it. With the explanation, you might take another different position. Maybe the explanation might not convince you, but it doesn't reach at that stage. They kill it at the second reading, and the second reading, you only discuss about the merits and the general principle of the bill. You don't go into details about the clauses of it, but you just deal with the detail. You all deal with the merits. Have been amended, and we will have, every Gambian will use the opportunity, because all the TVs will be there, all the radio stations will be there, and every Gambian will understand what was the document drafted by the CRRC, whether it reflects what Kemes and Sana want, or what Binto want, what all the vast majority of the Gambians want, and there we will make an informed choice. But the National Assembly members deny us this opportunity to know what was the content of the document, because the civil education failed their duties to educate the Gambian people what was the content of the document. And this is the institution that should tell each Gambian all the language that we have in this country, to educate the citizens to know what is the content of it. But they have failed in their duties. They never educate the Gambian people. And we only rely on the National Assembly to know the content of this document. And, those two people, they fail us based on partisan lies, because for me, there is no National Assembly member that can tell me that I vote against this draft constitution because of the interest of this country or through my own consent. Your consent is even telling you that you have denied the Gambian people the opportunity, at least to usher in a third republic and to draft their own document that will govern them. And all this past government, and there's no single Gambian that have not accused the 1997 constitution to be a soldier constitution. Others even call it a toilet paper. We say that it's a dictatorial constitution. So if we have the opportunity to draft a new constitution and you deny the Gambian people, what interest? It's only partisan interest, but there is no national interest. That's why you voted against this draft constitution. Okay. So this was the problem.
Yeah, Mr. Sane, don't you think that they are rushing this draft constitution? Don't you think we need ample time for them to educate us on it?
Yeah, but one will understand that there is a law in this country that says that 6 months before the election, you cannot change the laws, the electoral laws of this country. And if you look at the draft constitution, it talks about the electoral reform. There are areas that talk about the elections, how the elections will be conducted, the mandate of the IEC, and the constitution says that 6 months before the election, you cannot amend any law. That means that any law that it means there, that's the law that you are going with to the election. And we know that 2021 is an election year for the Gambia. So if we didn't use this opportunity, that means that we are going to the election with the 1997 constitution. This is the 1997 constitution that doesn't have a term limit, that the president can serve for 30 years, 40 years. And the whole objective of the coalition was to make an end to self-perpetuating the rule. Because we believe that from Jawara 30 years, Yajame for 22 years, we have seen what it has given the Gambian people. Because if people tend to stay many years in power, there is a tendency of developing what we call a dictatorship tendency. Yeah. At the end of the day, they don't care, because the incumbency dictates the results of this election in this country. This is why the whole idea of the coalition was made, at least to make an end to what we call incumbency in this country, that the Gambian people will have they will listen to all political parties, and based on their programs and their policies, they will vote, but not based on incumbency. Because why Ajame stay too much in power here? It's not because the government, but it's because of the influence of the incumbency, because you have all the resources at your bed. That's why the coalition said that for this coalition, we will have a president that will serve for 3 years. and we have a level political ground whereby all parties will go and seek the mandate of the Gambian people. And we will open the radio station, the TV station, everybody will be educated. So you will listen to the political parties and you will choose a political party based on the policies and the program. But there will be no incumbency that will say that, okay, yeah, he's the president, so I will not vote against the president. Like this has been a mindset in the Gambian people that Mansa Fai, Haniman Katof, Haniman Katof against Abengula, General Fonka Katof. And this is still existing in the provinces because I do a study about this by election in Yamina West. And I could see here the same language. People still have this mindset that incumbency is selected by God and we have to live it. When his time comes, he will go. And we must educate the government people to understand. And this is why the trend Barrow has defeated these people is not based on anything, but it's based on the influence of the incumbency. That's why he was able to win the Nyamina West seat and the Kerjarga Wards. It's incumbency. And unless government people get away with this incumbency, there will be no change of government based on policies and programs. We will vote on people based on the incumbency or based on politics or patronage or based on intimidation, but we will not vote based on programs and policy. And if we fail to vote people based on programs and policy, it's the Gambian people that we are suffering for 54 years. This country has been suffering. We must change the way we elect people to office.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sane. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. Okay. Miss Ndow.
Binto.
Yeah, you go ahead. You heard
Binto,
what
is he gone?
Mr. Sane was saying.
Yes, I've heard what Mr. Sane, Kek Sane was saying, and he has explained it very well. And obviously, we all thank him for his, work on the ground. We know how painful it is and how difficult it is for them, especially. And but let them always be reminded that we are, although far away, but we are always behind them in their quest for Gambia's development and for obviously all the efforts being put. It is very unfortunate what is going on, especially for Honorable Halifa Sallah, and for the simple reason that, yes, as we know, the foundation or the architect of the coalition 2016, which has broken. And obviously, as we know now, that according to the Gambia's constitution, section 101, section 101, section 1 says, subsection 1 says, subject to the provisions of this section, a bill or a motion may be introduced in the National Assembly by a member of the cabinet or by a member of National Assembly, and the National Assembly shall give considerations to the bill and the motions introduced. So obviously, for them to say that he doesn't have the right to introduce it, I think is not obviously according to the law of the land, which is the constitution. So based on that provision, however, if the Speaker is saying that because there is no amendment or there are no changes, so we are going to go back through what we've discussed before during the promulgation. So the same thing is we're going to talk about again. So obviously, it's no need, and obviously, yes, that is something that he can come up with as an opinion, but it's not really something that will help the Gambia if there is a political will. But I want to highlight something that is very important to note as well with regards to this constitution. Some people are saying that they would are showing that they want the constitution to be passed with the draft or the way it is, but maybe deep in them they don't want it to be. Secondly, right now, as you know, as Jonathan, good luck Jonathan is there to give us good luck. He has been meeting them and talking to the political party leaders and all the stakeholders. And I believe that there's nothing that he can tell them that they cannot do by themselves. There's nothing he's going to tell them that they know their problems more than good luck Jonathan. They know what they need to do more than good luck Jonathan. But the point is, there are these 7 areas of the constitution that the borough, the NPP camp, want. If you want me to call it the coalition 2016, but the citizenship part, the ministerial appointment part, and the impeachment of the president, the term limits, and also the the area that talks about retirement of judges. So these are all areas, including the economic, civil, political, economic rights that they want amendments on. So that will suit them, that will suit their aspirations as a coalition or NPP government. So for that reason, I mean, obviously, they would not welcome Honorable Halifa Salah's proposal because if they want it this way, it's all been state managed already. It's all been planned. They know what is going to happen. They know what they're going to do. So they bring an ex-president to come and talk to these stakeholders, convince them, and obviously go and make these amendments, then bring it back. But the question now is, when they bring it back, they need 25%, 75% to pass it. There is another group who are sitting there folding their arms, just waiting for them to come. When they come, that group alone is more than the 25%. So it's not gonna fail again. So in practice, this draft constitution is not in the political will of the Barrow government, whether it's coalition 2016 or it's NPP government. His mission of the coalition or transition of 3 years or 5 years to deliver for the Gambia a TRRC, a CRC, and a JANE commission of inquiries. He hasn't got the political will to deal with it according to the way it should be. So definitely, no matter who came, even if you bring the King of Arabia, it's not going to work for them. They're not interested. So we have to then find another ways to get this thing done. I would say the National Assembly members who have the like Honorable Salah, the G.D.C, 2 members of parliaments, and the UDP, and some of the other parties, like I think one of the P.P.P, can look at the 1997 and make the necessary amendments that will give us a good stage to go to 2021. Because in my view, from what I'm seeing here, this draft constitution is not going to happen anytime soon. So, and they are not going to open the doors for anybody like Honorable Salah and any other MP who want to make this change happen in the nearest possible future. Binto.
Okay, Mr. Joof, hold on. Mr. Joof. I can hear myself. Mr. Joof, hold on. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Facebook, if you guys are watching, we appreciate y'all. Everybody heard from Mr. Sane, and Mr. Ndow is here with us. Mr. Joof is here with us. I'm just going to take 3 calls. Please, 3 calls. We run out of time. The conversation is amazing. We cannot stop. We have to bring them back again. Yes, that's what we're going to do. So we will take only 3 calls. The number will be +1 if you are outside of America, 678-390-0539. So you can call. We will need 3 contributors. Mr. Joof, you can go ahead. You heard what Mr. Keck was talking about. Yes.
Thank you very much, Binto. I would start from where Mr. Ndow ended his deliberations. I agree, personally, I agree with his assertion that we should bring back the 1997 original constitution.
Okay.
If you're talking about the 1997 original constitution, it was a constitution that definitely, in my view, suited the Gambia. When it was drafted, obviously, at the time, the APRC government didn't actually have the philosophies that they developed later in the years that followed. That's the reason why it was amended over 50 times. Yes, if you could bring that one back and probably add few things, which we should have actually done at the very beginning, people call for that. But we had UDP at the time who insisted that no, we are going for a new constitution.
Okay.
They had an idea about what they wanted. Now coming back to where we are now, in my view, again, not PPP's view, all of you know PPP's position. We are a very democratic party. We don't impose anything on anyone. You got to go back to your people, talk to them, wherever they lean, you go and vote in that way. And that's how we voted. Split vote. People believe that is right, others believe that don't, and our MPs voted on that way. In my own personal view, in this way, I have followed the review. One thing that I found really interesting is we appointed a commission called the CRC. And in my view, they were supposed to be professionals who are skillful in different areas: negotiation skills, constitutional review skills, people skills, interview skills. They should have had all these experts present in this commission, which I believe is even there. But then what happened along the way is it becomes so politicized, so interest focused, that they derail what the Constitutional Review Commission was supposed to work on and started working on individual people's interest. We had the leader of the UDP came in the middle of the review and said that if certain things are not included in the draft constitution, we'll vote it down. It's on record. How are you supposed to expect interest not underlying the draft in this manner? Now, I don't blame the leader of the opposition. He has all the rights to lobby for the things that they want to have in the constitution. But then I'll come back to the CRC. I think the Gambia government should sue the commissioners to pay them what they have been paid to deliver a bad job. If you cannot negotiate and pass anything, look, if you go to a store and buy an item and is below standard, we have the right to return the item and get our money back, don't we?
Yes.
We appointed them to deliver a constitution. That's what we appointed them. It was their responsibility to negotiate with the members of parliament because they are stakeholders. If they say no, it's not going to go. It's their responsibility to negotiate with the general public. If they say no, it's not going to go. It's their responsibility to negotiate with the international partners, the people that funded these programs. If they said no, it's not going to pass. Now, you've got all the stakeholders and you fail to negotiate properly to have everyone's consent in a draft, and then you knew very well that if you put it to the National Assembly, it's going to fail. You disrespect the Gambian people and put it forward. For me, that is a failure. It's a failure by the CRC, and they should be sued to pay back the money that they were paid to deliver something that didn't pass. It's a defective good that or services that they provided to the Gambian people, and they should refund that money. For me, it's not about UDP. It's not about President Barrow or the coalition government. It's not about NPP or it's not about GDP. They all have, no, it is. It is not, because they have their interests, and their interests have to be guarded. G.D.C's interest has to be guarded in the national document, because if not, what's the essence of G.D.C in existence? P.P.P's interest has to be guarded in, not as a political party, but as a movement as well. We are people, and this document is supposed to be for us. If the document is not delivering anything for us, why should we support it in the first place?
Can I just say something quickly?
Okay, Joof, hold on.
Just to land on the other issues that I just wanted to make a brief comment on Hersane. I commend him. He is a very brilliant person. I've been following him online, and he's been reporting brilliantly. But he did make mention about Halifa Salah's interjection in the draft, trying to salvage the draft, bringing it back to the National Assembly, and the Speaker's response. This is also still my personal view, not my party's position. But in my view, I think Halifa Saleh, I respect Halifa Saleh really, really well. He's a very intelligent man, very educated person. But at times, I think as a political party, what he tried to surface is either this way or no way. For me, if Halifa has the right to present this or bring this motion back to the Speaker, and the reason for the Speaker being there is for Speaker to adjudicate on some of these motions. The Speaker have all rights to look at the merits. If the Speaker deems it right that it is not necessary or it is not in the interest of the Parliament to pass at this point, I think it should close that chapter. Why should you go and start calling on press conference, trying to denigrate the decision of the Speaker and putting it into the public domain to ask for public sympathy on your own side. For me, that is political. And in my view, he has the right to bring it. The speaker has the right to hear it and has the right to rule on it. If the speaker rules on it, we should be content with that. We are all members of parliament.
Okay,
and
Mr.
I think
Joof.
Khalifa, in my view, in that case, as has tried to put it, in his view, I think that area for me is not for me.
I respect your opinion on that, but Khalifa did that because the president, the former president of Nigeria, was coming to the country. So it's definitely an issue, and he was trying to show the Gambian people what effort he was trying to put in, to forward to the parliament. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to be transparent so we can know what happened.
Can I make a point on Jonathan? Jonathan, I think one point wrong. One point on good luck, Jonathan. I talked about the CRC's failure to deliver. Let's be honest with ourselves.
8:30, yeah?
Yeah, just 1 minute.
Just
1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we had tried our own systems. We tried our own systems in many ways. We tried the CRC. We tried the parliament. We tried civil society. There was a civil society organization that held some kind of mediation 2 or 3 weeks ago. Political parties were invited. I think it is still ongoing.
Okay.
We tried all those things locally. It didn't work. What we're trying, I think what the government is trying to do now is what everyone wants, a new constitution. They want to see a new constitution in place. If everyone thinks that President Barrow, his advantage is with this current constitution, I think you don't know this constitution. There's no opportunity for him in this new constitution. If he wants it to win next year, he needs a new constitution, not this one.
Okay.
It hasn't favored him at all.
Okay, Mr. Ndow, you can come on in. Then I will ask you for you to wrap up. Yeah. Your time is run now.
Yeah. I think from what I'm hearing Mr. Joof elaborating on about the CRC, I will direct Mr. Joof to look at the Constitutional Review Commission Act 2017 that was mandated by the National Assembly and read the functions. I don't want to go through the functions now, or I can do, but obviously time will not allow us, but I can give you a synopsis of it. And subsection 6 of the Constitutional Review Commission Act 2017. And in their functions, it did not say that they have to negotiate with any member of parliament. They have to draft a constitution and present it to the National Assembly. This is there. It's a black and white. I did not write that act.
I do not challenge. I do not challenge the statement you are making. I'm challenging the logic behind the statement you are making.
Let's talk about.
We did not appoint negotiators. We appoint a commission. A commission is supposed to have that ingredients in it. This is my point.
Joof, hold on.
Listen.
Joof, hold on.
You can be defensive as much as you like. What I'm saying to you
I
is,
am not.
No, hold on. The Act of Parliament 2017 was not written by me or you. It's there. It was written by this current National Assembly. Yeah, when things were really nice and cozy in 2017. So go and read it. Subsection 6. UDP. No, let's listen. Whether it's UDP, you calling them your coalition government did it, yeah? And your coalition government did an act of National Assembly in 2016, enacted in 2017, giving them a mandate to do a CRC, a constitutional review. And the functions in there in section 6 detailed what they're supposed to do. And I believe they have done that completely. They've brought us with public opinion. They brought us with best interests of people. These 7 points that I mentioned earlier, because those are the 7 points that do not sit with the current NPP government or coalition, if you like. That is why they will never allow it to go through parliament and pass, supported by the Barrow camp, for it to have a 75% to go to the next stage. Now, if that is an interest of the Gambia or interest of an individual, you make that judgment and the listeners will make that judgment. But for you to say that the DCRC should be sued, and because of that and that and that, I think you are just going to waste more money of the Gambian state, because they have no grounds to sue, because the function that they are supposed to do has been delivered according to Section 6 of the 2017 CRC Act. So going back to the urgency, Halifa Salah's proposal, there is nothing more urgent right now in the Gambia than having a new constitution. So I think I think in that stage, if they had the political will, the NPP or Coalition 2016 group should have go to a corner and say, you know, guys, what? Even if they are not giving us a retroactive term, if we believe in ourselves and we do good for the Gambian people, let us pass this and have the best for the majority of the Gambian people, so that international community members will be happy, the Gambian stakeholders will be happy, the political parties will also have a better leverage to be able to govern the Gambia with more than 50 plus 1% population of the Gambia to be leading the state and through the state house. But because they don't have the political will, so everything will be done as you said, and the delay will continue to take place until June, when no changes can be made, and then it will then be put aside. Then we have to go with the 1997 constitution in the elections of December 2021, 4th of December, and then Barrow believes that he has got the support of PPP and NRP, so obviously they will be on his side. In this case, then he will be having the majority and he will continue to run the Gambia. But I can tell you that the majority of the Gambian people that are not with President Barrow is more than President Barrow adding NRP and PPP on them. So this is the real fact. So I will just put it there in a nutshell and just thank you all for being together. And obviously I will take you a couple of questions, Binta, before I go.
Yes.
But I really apologize for leaving.
Yeah. Yes. We are about to close down. We did well today. I have to bring you all back, so no problem.
Thank you.
The Nyamina West election was a disappointment for the GDC.
Yeah.
What is GDC gonna do this time around? Election.
As we know that the Nyamina was obviously intimidation of the people in Nyamina, and obviously the money factor, as power of incumbent, we all know, which was detailed also in the reason why they chose 3 years transition. So for somebody who wants to set up a party and entrench himself, will use the state resources and do everything possible. The alcalos and the CFO, the threats that they were giving them: if you don't vote for us, we will take your alcaloship, we will remove you from being a safe. Swearing of giving them Quran to read. I mean, Mr. Joof is saying no, as to whether he doesn't agree with me or he has got a different story. But I am telling you from my official point of view as a GDC diaspora, because you are talking in person as a personal, I am talking official. So we are the difference on this platform today. I am representing a party, you are representing yourself. So whatever I'm saying here is for the GDC, on behalf of the GDC. So that's where we are different. However, the Quran, giving them Quran to swear, and obviously buying their voters card, these are all things that were happening. So obviously with the NRP trying to use obviously the difference between the social problem that is happening between the Nyamina Fullers and the Mandinkas. So they also involved the UDP factor, saying that because the UDP supported them there, that's why the Fullers, all of them went and fought for NRP, or which is NPP, obviously, so which is consumed by NPP as they are doing with the other small ones. But the point here is that Barrow cannot do that in the whole of the Gambia. Those who love the UDP will continue to love the UDP. Those who love the GDC will continue to love the GDC. Those who love APRC will continue to love the APRC. So at the end of the day, if that all put together in whatever form, as the PPP and the NRP give themselves up to NPP, so obviously we will then see where power lies. But power belongs to the people. So obviously, next election, what we then need to do as a group is to ensure all the mistakes that they've done in the past are not coming to repeat. They need to ensure that the delay tactics that Barrow is doing today is being published out to the Gambian people. All this kind of lack of political will that we are exploring right now in the Gambia, we facing, it all need to come to light to the people, because we only want to for the Gambian people, and the fact of the matter is that the people of the Gambia, majority of the Gambian people, 70% I can tell you, or 80 today, are not with President Barrow. So he can lavish the nation's wealth. He can go to rallies, meet the people's store, which they hide behind mandate of constitution, and give money to the people and attack party leaders and talk about defection from one party to another, which is very normal and common from any country, you know, and now they use that as a power of incumbency. But obviously, I don't want to be on air now to tell us the strategy that we are going to use or among who we're talking among us. But we know very well that 2021, Barrow and whoever supports Barrow will be out of that state house. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, before you go, Joof, you hold on. I'm gonna have you a few more minutes. Before you go, we had this rumor, really right now, going on that President Barrow, when he comes back from his tour, meet the people's tour, he might declare a state of emergency, so that the other parties will not get a chance to go around the country. It's rumors.
Yeah, I want to come on that. I personally.
Joof, hold on. Let's get Ndow, so he will go. He will. I don't want him to go without answering few of these questions.
I thought he was going to take a break.
No, hold on.
Yes, there's yeah. If you look at the
Joof, hold on.
The state of emergency that that they are rumoring that is going to happen, it might be scaremongering. It might be true. I mean, that people are saying that he can do it. So it could happen. But obviously, he has the power under Section 34 of the Gambia Constitution to do that. Fine. Okay. But on what basis? Because you cannot go to tour and go around the whole country, put people together from Banjul to Koina, and you come back and say state of emergency. So the people are waiting. The Gambian people are waiting. The National Assembly are waiting. Listen, we need to understand something. The president can play around as much as he likes with the people that will give him that support. But there are also the conscious Gambians and conscious people within the Gambia that are not going to tolerate that. Because you can't be, as a president, in the middle of the pandemic, when you can cancel a constitutional requirement. The constitution does not say that the president must go for presidential tour. He could have cancelled that for next year or middle of next year when the pandemic is even less down. And but what he did is he decided to use the mandate because it is going to give him political points and to go, instead of going even to review the people of the Gambia, what he has promised them last year, 2 years ago, or last year, and where they are, do a kind of a result-based management assessment. No, he is standing there talking about who defected from this party, who is coming from this party, who am I going to do, what am I going to do next, what I'm going to talk about, those things that has no value within our governance. The farmers are still poorer today compared to last year. You can hear that their products has not been even purchased this year. So what is the essence of this thing? So it's all about this political. I believe, in my view, in the next Gambia, this political tour of nation tour should be scrapped. Should be scrapped in a sense that people can meet the people, the responsibles, like the state leaders can meet the people for their benefit, but not the benefit of the people themselves who are leading the country. Going to the people, ask them what they need, provide for them, review them next year, see what progress they've made. I think it's more essential than what they are doing currently. So on top of that, you come back and say state of public emergency to stop other political parties to go around after you've gone round. That doesn't sound logical. It doesn't make any sense, but we are waiting since it's been said. Thank you.
Okay. So what is your final word?
My final point is to thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Joof, and I hope you understand my position as well. And we have a very, some kind of banters as well. But just take it from me that we all lived the Gambia for so long, and obviously we are all economic migrants now, and I can tell you that I came here during the end of PPP regime, so obviously my Gambia was not very nice before I left, so it wasn't easy for me at all. That's why I had to leave, and obviously thanks to the Western governments that whatever they did for me, I could have had in my country, but unfortunately I did not have, so I cannot stand here today and say it was very, very good during Jawara's days. However, he was a very great man. He had a very good intention for the country, but he also had some wrong people around him, and I witnessed that myself. So that failed the PPP a lot. But Sir Dawda as a person please visit my Facebook wall. You will see, or you listen to Diasporium Radio. I have defended PPP there many, many times. But obviously, what's happening now is different from the PPP that I know. I must tell you this. And if I don't say it, I will be hypocritical. Secondly, especially with President Barrow, everybody knowing what President Barrow is doing, I believe every Gambian who wants development should not be with the NPP. So I thank you all for having me, and thanks to the listeners. Obviously, it's just unfortunate that I have to go somewhere by 9 o'clock, but I would love to come back and meet you all. Thank you very much. And one Gambia, one people, brother and sister, and all the listeners. Mr. Joof, we'll catch up again next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ndow. Thank you very much, Mr. Ndow.
We appreciate
I know I'm not gonna be arguing in your absence. I'm just gonna make my case for PPP.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Facebook, please, everybody watching us, please share our information. It's very important. It doesn't mean that it's because it's not your party, you don't have to, you don't want to share it. It's the information, it's the education portion of it. Yes, please share. Give me 200 shares, please. All right, Mr. Joof.
Okay.
Mr. Joof, I have corrupted you a little bit. Mr. Ndow have to run, so that's why I'm just gonna let you wrap up too. Okay. What you were trying to answer some questions. Go ahead. You were trying to answer.
Oh yeah. Yes. I just wanted to make some points about PPP's position. PPP as a political party, because I don't want to dwell on Mr. Ndow's allegations about PPP not performing because he's not here. But what I wanted to make clear about PPP is what PPP stands for. We all know PPP history. PPP is a very great party. It was formed on a very solid basis. Anyone who knows Sadauda knows him as a Democrat. And it's those values that the PPP continue to uphold. We are a democratic party. We believe in democracy. We believe in everyone's say. That's why we're trying to rebuild the party from that basis. If you look at our MPs, PPP been banned for 22 years, and we just came back and people voted for us and put us in parliament and in some councils. That says a lot about PPP, what PPP stands for. People believe in PPP. All we need is time. Now, do we have to sell an idea now? I don't agree on that point, because we have the National Development Plan, which PPP ascribes to. PPP believe in the National Development Plan. That's why our party leader, Honorable Keba Jallow, was in the store, in the presidential Meet the People store, and his presence there is to represent PPP as a partner in the coalition government. We are not members of the NPP as others would probably try to put it. No, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell the Gambian people that PPP exists. We are stakeholders in this government, and our programs and activities, as we did it in the last 30 years, is what we want the Gambian people to see. We've done a lot of things. You asked me a question in the past about whether we failed the provinces.
Yes.
Obviously, anyone who was born before 1994 and lived that era would definitely know. I can give you over 300 projects that the PPP government installed or has instituted in the Gambia. And I can name you a few. Probably you may know about GPTC, the Boss Corporation. I grew up in that era, and transportation anywhere in the Gambia was as simple as what we have in Europe right now. The bus systems that we have in the US and in Europe and other parts of Europe. If you want to go anywhere, up to Basse, you will have bus transportation. We have, when it comes to youth development, we have the Chairman Skills Development Center. Yajame came and destroyed that one. It trained the Gambian people to believe in agriculture, horticulture, and animal husbandry. It trained people. It trained people that I know in my time who went through the Chairman Training Center, and they were giving cattle at the end of their training. They were giving plows. They were giving cash to go and establish a commercial farming venture. This existed, and younger people don't know about these things. The Jahalia Pacha Rice program, I would even call it, because it's still ongoing, it was siphoned by Yahya Jammeh and probably used to his own personal gain. It was established by the PPP. We have let's look at the roads that PPP built. If people start accusing PPP of not doing anything, Binto, Soma Basse Road, Basse Fatoto Road, there were no roads around these areas.
What the provinces we are saying that PPP did not educate rural children. They were forgotten when it comes to education. There was no high schools, and for them, there were just few high schools, and they were not even built by PPP. So that's where the claim. And if you educate a child, you educate you educate a nation. So lack of education was part of it.
I disagree. Completely disagree on that. Before Yahya Jammeh came in, we have in the Gambia we have over 262 primary schools in the Gambia. But let's look at where PPP took the Gambia from. Binto, in 1965 or before that, I wasn't born actually at the time, but before that, we know the Gambia was under the colonial rule. And who actually drafted the education policy at the time? The colonialist. PPP came at a time when the Gambia just got independence. And at that particular time, education, Western education, was in the best of the things that people wanted, actually.
Yeah,
no one wanted to send their kids to school. But President Jawara saw examples to people in the provinces using the local authorities, like the local chiefs and the like, trying to encourage them to send their kids to school after they've graduated and started benefiting and sending those benefits back into the community. People started realizing that, okay, it is important to have both our religious education, which is basically Quranic education, as well as Western education. That has nothing to do with our religion. And we launched a series of public campaigns to encourage people to send their kids to school. Even in my age, when I was going to school, your father will meet you at the classroom and pick you and take you to the farm. They were not interested at the time, but they didn't know. People didn't know about the value of education. Even though we had lots of primary schools, the enrollment level was still very low. Now, do you want to tell me that in 1855, the American president actually was responsible or was supposed to build NASA at that time? Were they thinking about that time? No. Every government has a responsibility. But what a government's current responsibility is, it depends on the circumstances that we find ourselves in. PPP was at a time when the Gambia, compared to us, the sub-region, Senegal, Mali, Guinea or Guinea-Bissau, Gambia was London in the midst of, let's say, sub-Saharan Africa. Gambia was one of the best countries. We had a very stable economy. Do you know the name pound in our own currency, Binto? You know, the $5 was called pound.
The five what? The dollars?
The $5 was one time called the pound. Pound. If you have a $5, people will just call it pound because it was equivalent to the pound. And people just wanted to call it amulo for pound. Pound mean amulo for $5. That is how good our money was, because the economy was strong. Sarara ensured, or the PPP government ensured, that we have a very stable economy. People don't have to go hungry. A hungry man is an angry man. You don't have to build a massive structure when the people that are supposed to use those structures don't even have anything in their bellies. And that is what exactly Yahya Jammeh did when he came. Started lavishing the Gambian people with elephant projects, white elephant projects. Look at all the hospitals that he built. Do we have the required equipment? Do we have the doctors? Have we got any trained nurses to run those hospitals? Do we have enough medicine? Probably you have not been in Gambia lately, but I have been, and I have parents there. Exactly. How much will it cost you to get a prescription sorted in the Gambia? In the thousands now.
Oh.
Even in Yaya Jammeh's era.
Right.
Thousands. We had
but
a very...
when it comes to health, I think that healthcare, that's my opinion. I think it's about time any government that will come 2021, they should look into health insurance, because healthcare is not easy. I think they should take a look into that and invest a lot. Yes, and invest a lot. Mm-hmm.
Do you know it was the PPP government that introduced the national insurance company, or the Gambia National Housing and Finance Corporation. It was the PPP government that started that, and the idea behind it was exactly what you're talking about now. How do we ensure that people who work their life can have somewhere to fall back when they retire?
Yeah.
And coming back, I just want to go back to health. I just want to give you a snapshot of what existed in the Jawara or the PPP regime. We had a comprehensive health system that had, in every village in the Gambia, we have a primary health care stocked with medicine, basic medication, a trained health care assistant, a trained birth attendant in every village in the Gambia. And there was a structure. My dad used to be one of those finance cash treasurer for the health care in my village.
Hold on. Don't go to healthcare.
And I know about that. We had a very good health care system. Binto, if you ask anyone who is 40 years over, he will tell you that I never went to hospital for 10, 15 years. I haven't visited hospital in those days.
I'm one of those. Let me tell you something. The nurses, they come to Combo East, Faraba Bantan. That's where I was born. When I was born, I didn't see a nurse until I turned 2 years old.
Why?
Because they comes once a year. So when they came they comes once a year. That's all we know.
Why do they have to come once a year? Because we had a system in place. We had a traditional birth attendant who is well trained, and we had a healthcare worker who is also well trained, and he's trained by those healthcare professionals that you're calling nurses, because they don't have to come. There is no need for them to come. They can only come to supervise and probably monitor and evaluate what this team in the villages have done.
We were not.
You will agree with me that we had a very...
Okay, let me tell you mine before we let it go. We're about to go.
Okay.
Let me tell you mine. The year I was born, I didn't see a nurse until I turned 2. So you will see that I missed the first 2 years of my vaccines. So I was given those vaccines after I turned 2. So those vaccines that I should be receiving when I was below 2, they were not effective anymore. So healthcare in Gambia have never been on the right side of history.
Yeah, but I would still disagree with you, Binto, that with PPPs taking over, where there was nothing, as I told you in the American scenario, there was nothing. We were beginning something. Yeah. Obviously, we are not claiming that we were perfect, but we had put something in place.
Yes, thank you.
That sorted out the basic healthcare issues. And I hope that other parties and other Gambians can see what PPP have done and can do right now with a new PPP government.
What do you have last to say before I let
you go? The last thing I need you back. Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say is about the PPP diaspora. We have a very good chapters in the United States.
Okay.
And I believe you may, Binto, we have young people in their masses now reflecting back and looking at what PPP government, because people are interested now, they're going back into the archives, trying to find out what PPP was all about. Now they've had the opportunity to see an alternative government, which wasn't pleasant to them. They know what PPP can deliver. Now we have lots of young people now interested in PPP. I'm calling on people around the diaspora area, particularly in the United Kingdom. We have a chapter that we're trying to build now, and we need people to volunteer. I know the membership's there, but we're working on having a structured organization, which is the Europe Diaspora. And in a very few months after the Congress, we would have had all the structures at the national level identified. Then we will be working with people around the United Kingdom and in Europe to establish those structures. We are calling on people here. They can contact me on Facebook. I have a page there, which is PPP UK page. They can even contact me on my own personal page, which is Ousainou Joof, Ousainou OJ Joof on Facebook. If anyone wants to know more about the chapter here that we have in Europe, they can contact me and we can start working on rebuilding our party.
Okay.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh my God, I appreciate you coming. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Binto. See you another time.
All right, we will. We will. Thank you. All right, Facebook, we are here. We are back. We are here. We've been here. Yes, I say we are back like we've been gone. No, we are here. I appreciate everybody joining in today. We had a great conversation. You agree or disagree? It might be not your party, but this platform here is welcoming every political party. So the education, every party's intention is the Gambia. They want to take over the Gambia and see if they will make it better. So if you want to know a lot more about PPP, you just like Joof said, go through the archive. You will see what PPP been. I'm baby PPP. I've been born during PPP time. So what I can say about PPP, they were good too. They were good. They were good because I ate a lot of Uncle Ben's and pancake at school. Yes. Other. We had Honorable OJ Jallo here. If you want to hear more, Joof was here. Joof is here today, and OJ was down there. You can check the video. And we have APRC, Honorable Fabakary Tombonjata's video is right there. And we had UDP. We are still waiting on UDP's party leader, but we will get him. And I'm saying, UDP, congratulations. Their Congress is on fire. Yes. And we have seen the executives they have chosen. So we will invite somebody who will come and talk on behalf of the UDP. We are saying Honorable Dabo, congratulations. He's the flag bearer. He's the executive party leader again. And G.D.C, we would like their party leader, and we are saying thank you to Ndow. Mr. Ndow, we appreciate you. The education, do not miss next Sunday. Please share us. Share. Thank you. Let's listen to Jaliba again. I love you. Allah baraka ngala appreciate bakel. Alkala hajol tuje, akala suta ulara sino tuje. Alkanana nalka kacha. Kachalam, alin share. Kachalam. Laftalon na lemben banko dile jamal. Who do we trust? MPP, alalla molki na nali ya kacha. Alkana jutu de. Alkana jutu. We are grassroots. Nalu mala molki na aliyamira ko. Ntolu, we cannot do any difference for y'all. You never know. Okay? Alalla molki na. Yes, Patiol. Ala CA. Citizens Alliance. Me Dr. Sisefanan congratulate la. Yela Congress kele. We would like to hear from them too. I mean, we will want to hear from all the parties. Okay? It's open to all the parties. Yes. We call it education because we want to really know who we can give our vote to. Okay? So, mbal kontonna, Gambia tolumini bije mbal kontonna I'm waving. Mba fola Mr. Sane Cakes, nge appreciate le. Thank you. Thank you for chipping in. But we would like to have a full one with you. All right? Allah barak. Thank you, Jali. Yes. Jamme. Today kachadiata. Mr. Joof, thank you. Thank you. Allah baraka. Na class prefect fella, Modo Ann, thank you. He's our class prefect. Baji, thank you. Thank y'all. YouTube, I'm giving a shout out to everybody on YouTube too. Thank y'all. I saw my brother there too. Ja, thank y'all. Tamba, Allah baraka. Gay, thank you. Your contribution is very important. Please, always come on Sundays. We only do it on Sundays. Yes. But believe, I was so happy. Yes. Allah baraka. Thank you, Jali. Jali mbe kontonna. Inila dimbal be kontonna. Allah baraka. Alkana next Sunday, every Friday, Alkana na page auto to see who is coming next. Yes. Thank you, Mane. Thank you. Sulemu. Alisa yamfanya de hadama dingolet. Ninga kuma fo mimanya na fala. Alisa yamfanya. Horomo ni mbunya daro. Allah baraka. Thank y'all. Allah baraka. Seka, thank you. Kawalio. Adamanalana. So Binto Bantaba community, we appreciate y'all. Alkanana every Sunday. Ntenyinkela no without you. Ite alonko isela party represent no. You don't have to be on the executive. Inbox me. Aliya inbox. Yes, we want to hear. Come Joof wole minke jambi. Ndow. Yes. Allah baraka. Alnana nalka kacha. Thank you. Wow, it was a good day.